Democratic issue. They talked about it, but some people not even aware. I was one of them, and I consider myself informational. It was a while before I even realized that Trump signed the trans issue operations or whatever, surgeries in prison. That was on his watch.
What are you
So
talking?
how does it, and so that could be an issue or a topic of discussion for someone who flipped because of the transgender issue. Were they even aware that that was signed under him? Wasn't signed on under the Democrats. So I am only suggesting that we not be critical, that we inform, that we get better at training ourselves to inform those who believe these things that are not true. So, and have a real conversation back and forth rather than judge them. They could still they may never believe it, or it might not change their minds, but we don't know that. But to allow them to say it and there's no response, and it doesn't have to be the trans issue. It could be a friend who had another issue that made them flip. If they're saying something that you know not to be true, why not talk about it? Not judge them, have an open conversation, show them the facts. In the trans situation, knowing that Donald Trump signed it could have been something that they weren't aware of.
Okay.
Right? But we don't know because we don't communicate. We got to get better at telling the real issue and not what the GOP tells us the issue is, because that's what they do.
And that's really good, too, that you have that information, because it shifts us out of having to be defensive when you actually have the real fact about that. That's really a cool point. You know, I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking about something that happened before the election. I was out having coffee with a relatively new friend, somebody who does not consider herself political. She told me that her fiance was Republican. She wasn't sure what she was going to do as far as voting. And we started to talk, and I was like really trying to get her on Team Blue. And I did something which I've always known to do, which is to find the personal, find the place where something really hits somebody in the heart. So we started talking about abortion, about women's rights, about women's bodily autonomy. And she's a very cool woman in her mid-50s who has a career and mom of 3 boys and, you know, really empowered woman. But we started to have that conversation. And I'm getting into, you know, abortion can be really, really touchy. And as we talked, her eyes started to well up. And suddenly she just broke down and she told me this story about being like 15 years old and some girl at school telling her that she was pregnant, and the girl coming to her, and this woman was from like a really super Christian family, and she didn't know what to do and she didn't know how to help her, and she was terrified. And she finally just, her heart knew that she needed to help the girl, and she went to her mom and she got her mom to help get the girl the abortion. And it was like like the dam broke. And it became very personal for her, the whole issue. And it's like, that's where you have to meet people. It's more than just talk. It's more than what's in your head. You have to find the thing that really affects somebody and give them the understanding that this is about them. You know, I mean, people going back again to the manosphere and to women and emotions, you know, when people tell me stop taking it personally, I go, I don't, there's no other way I want to take it other than personally. If you can make it personal with people, that's the opening in my experience.
So, again, I don't know what law you're from that's on, but that's not the issue, right? The issue is this perception, right? The Dems put off a perception that, you know, I often say the Republicans are in denial about climate science, and the Dems seemingly are in denial about biology. And that is the perception, right? And